So I'm gonna mount Brian. And the question is, how do I not drench in sweat? Thanks, Aaron and Jackson. Aaron and Jackson. So you get to the mount, okay? Now, I've taught you guys getting to the mount so your legs are hooked and so forth, but the question is now, how do I, get him to turn to his side? So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna slide my knees up, and they're typically gonna defend their neck. I'm gonna put pressure on their neck and cross one arm over. The one that's, sorry, at least it didn't go in the mouth. The one that I cross over on top, my left hand goes to his left wrist. And I'm going to stretch it out this way and this way. There's a couple of things that happen here because typically he may reach with this hand to defend that one, and I begin to get the figure four seatbelt, okay? So sometimes they don't. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna push the wrist and you're gonna push into the kind of chest neck area, and I'm off his hips. So if he bridges his hips up, I'm off his hips, okay? From here, so you cross him over, left hand goes on the left, right hand goes on the right. And I'm gonna pin it out that way, and I'm gonna block it here. My left hand will go under here. So now he's already stuck in a, as Gordon Ryan calls it, dilemma, where he has to choose. He's either gonna save this arm, which enables me to get the, they call it a gift wrap, I call it a figure four seatbelt, because from here you have a lot of attacks and you're able to now slide in for S mounts, take back, arm locks, chokes, and of course submissions such as the S mount. Alright, so but oftentimes it's not that easy because they're gonna fight. So you're gonna figure out which one you can go. Maybe it'll be this one here. As he saves this one here, he rolls to his back. Goes right. Yeah, saves his back. You push that one out. Here, here, here. From here you'll leave a little hole. If he wants to save his arm here, he will move it through and go across that center line to save it here. From here, I can go for the figure four seatbelt, or as they call it, a gift wrap, or as they call it, the Hickson. The reason why it's called the Hickson, that when he fought Barry Tudo, he'd go here, here, and here. Bam, bam, bam. Bam, also. So, the question is, are you able to get it? Okay. So you'll start playing this game. Here, here, he saves it. He pulls it back this way here. Yeah, he pulls this arm this way here. You go here, here. He grabs here. He pulls it this way here. Saves his arm. He pulls it center. And push this one down. Here. Okay. And you play this game until you pin the arm effectively. But it's not going to be easy, and you have to stay balanced because you don't want to like topple also. All right. So as you push down here, cross him over. My left hand goes here, and I'm going to push it out this way. 1, 2, 3. Because now he's already saving it. From here, I already see that his second arm traveled across the center line of his body, which is bad news for him. Bad news when you're mounted. Bad news when you're in the guard, because both hands on the same side is bad news, because this is all back exposure here. Because if we were to reverse and he rolled on top of me here, this is essentially what happens from the guard when both hands are on the same, both arms are on the same side of the body. Because from here, with me, we begin to go, pull him into a back kick. Remember, the mount upside down is a guard upside down is a mount. So we're here, grab both wrists here, push up here, hand palm up, I'm going to pin it 1, 2, 3. Okay? And now from here, I potentially have, again, back exposure. If he doesn't, and he leaves this arm here, and here, now you can go here, bring this over here, and begin to finish the key lock. So this is what the more beginner side is going to do. You're going to go for a key lock. Here, you're going to cross their left over their right. Press down here, you're on your toes, as the left hand is here. The reason why this, because now I'm fighting his shoulder, not his whole arm. Because if I want to do this, it's hard to separate his arm. If I go here, it's a lot easier. It's all shoulder. From here, I grab right here, okay, wrist palm. My right hand goes underneath. I'm gonna bring this over, and I'm gonna drop my left hip on his right shoulder, as this hand keeps this arm flat. I'm putting it out here, because if I did it down here where I already had it, he'd be already tapping here. This hand, roll it, control it. This right hand pushes down the left wrist. And from here, I'm gonna lean on him this way. Right hand, my head looks to the right at my right knee, my right elbow goes to the right knee, and I finish. You guys can try this too. Here, here, switch here, pin, 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 and flatten it as I open the throttle. I'll close the throttle. What am I doing? Who rides a motorcycle? Am I opening the throttle? No. This is opening. I'm closing the throttle.
Closing.
Yeah.
Going forward, yeah.
Look, right hand comes under. And now from here, as my legs straighten, bring this over. And you see how I just kept it wedged, but if I flatten its wrist out, it's gonna finish. So I kind of do it out here. So I roll it, you control it, and pull it down. So this is for the beginner side. For you guys that are not so beginners, you guys can also do this, but just play with this. Pressure, and goes palm up, palm up. You're gonna pin 1, 2, and 3. He's gonna save his arm here. We're headed on the outside. Get the figure 4 seatbelt here, okay? And what you guys are gonna do is, see how I have the seatbelt right hand here? I'm gonna bring this right hand up, and I'm gonna grab right below his neck here. And then I'm gonna bring my right elbow down. See this right here? You only could see how intensely Mike and Hammer are looking at me right now, because they have seen something new. So here, look, I'm kind of at this halfway point, okay? If I'm too tight, it's gonna be hard to bring my right hand over. I'll push this out, bring this hand up, over. I pull this, and my right hand grabs my forearm sleeve as I begin to now pressure and pull. So we got here. Push. 1, 2, 3 here. I got the figure 4 seatbelt. Loosen it. Here. Hold it. Right about here. And now I crunch and push down. You'll figure out which way to apply the pressure. But this hand right here can just keep this wrist here. So what I'm doing is basically, I got here, I got the figure 4. You're controlling. You gotta kind of lift your chest a little bit, because if this is too low, it's gonna be too tight. And see, my left elbow is on the mat too. So I open it, lift, pull.
Is it your chest applying pressure?
It's both. It's my forearm, applying pressure going across. It's basically me doing this while it's tight on this side here, okay? So you grab your forearm. Don't grab your shoulder. You won't get enough pressure. You got to overreach like a choke. And now your right elbow drives down. Okay. Here. Here. Okay. So try that first. And then you go back to the figure 4. Alright? So everybody's gonna be palm up. 1, 2, pin. He saves it, pulls it back. Okay. For you guys, for you guys, it's gonna be pin, pin, come under, palm up, wrist brings over, frame it, and now my left leg is gonna straighten out so that my left hip can basically lay on his right shoulder. I have this not flat just because it would be already finished here. Then you're gonna roll this flat. We're gonna close the throttle, and then we're gonna pin that hand here. Now my right hand drags the arm up around, okay? Like a paintbrush. If you notice the elbow's going up, and this is flat. All right, so let's try that. Ready? 1, 2, 3.